last time we saw some prophecies fulfilled as Goku Black continued to lay low for now. Of course he's still observing, and it seems like his enemies are a lot stronger, but in the meantime he's been growing strong as well, especially with this new method of training he's unlocked. Where will this lead him now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this fourth part of What If Goku Black Arrived Early. Let's look back at the present timeline for a bit. The Tournament of Power eventually happens. With the Universe 6 tournament happening, Zeno did visit there and decided it might be fun to have a tournament. It might actually happen sooner than normal if anything, because without a future Zeno to keep him company, he might get bored sooner and decide to do the tournament sooner too. But it's not like the tournament's going to be any issue. If anything, it's probably going to be a wash for Universe 7, given the fact that Gohan and Piccolo are relatively stronger, and for Goku and Vegeta they're much stronger. I think by now it's reasonable to say that they've surpassed Super Saiyan Blue, and not just Mastered Blue, but they've moved on to completely different forms. Right now, Goku's able to tap into Ultra Instinct only. It's not the complete Ultra Instinct, and it's very fleeting, but he can do it willingly at least. As for Vegeta, he has Blue Evolution. He is aiming for a higher power, possibly something to do with Gods of Destruction, but for now this next stage of Super Saiyan Blue is fine. But he could tell he's on the cusp of surpassing Kakarot and getting something brand new, something that they haven't seen before. And even without Goku having the complete Ultra Instinct, being able to use Ultra Instinct Omen at will, and with all the training he had on top of that, it's safe to say he's still stronger than he was during the actual tournament even with completed Ultra Instinct. Now you might be wondering who's going to be on the 10th slot for the team. And it's not Frieza. Buu actually fills the final slot, and there's a reason he's still awake. First of all, because the tournament happens at a different time, since the group knows that Goku Black could still show up at any time and they're still sort of on high alert, they think it might be good to have Buu there to help. So they try and make sure he doesn't have those long naps that might screw them over. In turn, this ends up helping them for the tournament because this means he can participate. And he's a really good teammate for support, like insanely good. He might not have the raw power of someone like Frieza, but he's a great replacement because first of all, he actually works with everyone. Second of all, he's really hard to knock out of the ring, especially with the fact that he could just stretch himself and multiply himself. And third, the fact that he could heal people so easily, coupled with the access to all the other weird abilities he has, it makes him amazing for support too, which helps boost up the team for Universe 7 even further. In the end, Universe 7 wins, and a wish is made to restore the other universes as well. We might end up with Goku being the one to get the wish, and I feel like this is still something he would do, especially because after seeing all these other strong people, he'd want to wish them back because not only is it the right thing to do, but there's also the prospect of getting to meet and fight them all again. Naturally, Goku Black eventually gets word of all this too because he's still observing everything. He's interested to see how strong this timeline's growing. And it's strange that Zeno hosted a tournament like this, but at least it gives him some more data on all the fighters in that timeline. There were a lot of clips uploaded to GodTube, and you can see how strong Goku and Vegeta specifically have grown, as well as other people from Universe 7 and other strong mortals in other universes. So at least this gives him a little bit more to work with in terms of information and data. He feels confident in his strength now, but he still wants to be very careful. He wants to make sure he could win no matter what. So he's biding his time for as long as possible in order to grow as strong as possible. But even though he might not be able to attack the present timeline yet, he can attack the future timeline, the one he's in currently still. Thankfully, by using the Sickle of Sorrow, he's been able to travel through other timelines that didn't even exist before, and he was basically unnoticed throughout all of it. This allowed him to fight different versions of other mortals. He fought different versions of Trunks, different versions of Goku, different Vegetas too. Now, some of them got too strong for him. But still, there was a ton of great experience in there, and there was even times where he got to fight alternate versions of himself. But now with all of this training and all this time spent practicing, as well as getting used to this body even further, he feels like he could definitely take on Trunks in this timeline at least. This is the main target after all. Trunks is one of his main targets due to the fact that he's immortal messing with timelines. But it's not just Trunks he wants to go after. There are some other plans that he has here as well. With Trunks continuing to train on Beerus' planet, one day he, Beerus, and Whis are alerted by a portal opening on the planet. He knows exactly who it is, and this time he's prepared. He won't let Goku Black get away again. But still, something kinda concerns him. Where has Goku Black been this entire time? It's been a while since they last saw him, and he's kinda fearful of how much stronger he's grown. All the more reason to play it safe and try to kill him right off the bat. By now, with all this training under Beerus, of course, Trunks has unlocked Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. But that's not the peak of his power. The peak of his power is actually Ultimate, a form that just draws out all of his latent potential, which would include the power of these two forms. Once he learned how to fully use them, it basically just made Ultimate even stronger. Ultimate is his strongest and most efficient form right now, so he just jumps right into that, ready to fight Goku Black once more. Goku Black's a bit interested to see this because he thought Trunks would have something else by now, but he's still sticking with that same form he had before. Has he really not grown at all? Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just how this form works. He never really understood how it worked, because he doesn't necessarily know what it is, but after studying the Tournament of Power fights, he got to see a little bit more of Gohan, and it seems he's using something similar. From what he can gather, maybe this form is actually something pretty substantial. Maybe it has to do with drawing out one's potential. It might not look like a major transformation, but it might be deadly. And behind the simple changes, it could be hiding a lot of power. Trunks holds nothing back and launches right in at Goku Black, with Goku Black instantly going Super Saiyan Rose. For a moment this kinda throws Trunks off guard, especially because he's never seen anything like this before. But he recollects himself really quickly and can see that the gap in power is still pretty huge. He still overpowers Goku Black as they are right now. Trunks is aiming to kill him right at the moment. Goku Black instead is aiming to pace himself. Fighting very defensively, this combat experience will help him. He's learned this amidst his own training. Plus, it could help him draw out more anger, which will lead to more power as he's come to learn. Although, he might have to stop holding back as much as he is, because Trunks really overpowers him. So, he transforms once more. He has another form? In the same way those Saiyans were able to surpass Super Saiyan, he was able to surpass Super Saiyan Rose. And Goku Black shows off Super Saiyan Rose too. A form that doesn't necessarily look too much different from Rose, but Trunks knows not to underestimate forms by how much they change someone, because look at what he's using right now. And he still doesn't realize what Super Saiyan Rose is because this is the first time he's seeing it in action and actually fighting against it. And not just that, Goku Black generates his Sickle of Sorrow, ripping a hole through time and space. With clones of himself coming through, these clones seem way weaker than him, but still, now he has strength in numbers. Even so, Trunks is able to actually fend them off really well. As is, he still overpowers Goku Black, but the only issue is now that Goku Black actually has some allies working with him. These clones aren't just exact copies that he's using either. Something's weird about him, and Trunks can't really tell what it is, nor does Goku Black really know how it works either. Even amidst all his time studying the effects of the Sickle of Sorrow, he still really couldn't get to the bottom of what this attack was, or what these clones are. Not that it matters though, because they're clones of him and they're helping him. Trunks fights off multiple versions of Goku Black, trying to focus on the main one who's the strongest and is obviously commanding the other ones. And the more Goku Black studies Trunks, the more he comes to realize Trunks really is like Gohan, and he questions him about this too. Given the fact that Trunks has traveled through time, he's sure that he knows about the present version of Gohan, and that's why he says this. He's trying to compare Trunks to Gohan not only to get some info on both of them, but also trying to anger Trunks a bit more, wondering what kind of reaction he'll have. What he doesn't realize is that Trunks thinks he's referring to future Gohan, and doesn't know why he's bringing him up here. When Goku Black compares his power to Gohan, Trunks thinks he's referring to the fact that they're both hybrid Saiyans with great latent potential. Of course, he doesn't know that present Gohan has the same form as him, and he's just kind of taken aback by this. How does Goku Black know Gohan? This misunderstanding lets Goku Black see that somehow he struck a nerve with Trunks, and he wants to continue doing this too. This way he could draw out more power. There was a reason he was holding back before and trying to pace himself while Trunks was trying to kill him. The more intense the fight, the more he's gonna grow. If Trunks ends up reaching his limit and can't surpass Goku Black, that's fine. He'll just kill him and then the job will be done. But if he can, that'll be a good way for him to grow stronger too. Either way he wins. He's either exploiting some power boosts, or he just has an underwhelming fight and kills Trunks. And he tries to pressure Trunks even more, bringing up Gohan again. Trunks eventually realizes that he's referring to the present Gohan, which confuses him even more because does that mean Gohan has the same sort of power as him? Is that what he's referring to? But still, Goku Black put the idea of future Gohan into his head. Trunks isn't necessarily losing here, but he feels like he's not making any progress. Beerus and Whis are of course watching and wonder what Trunks will do next. But thinking about this brings up some old feelings that Trunks has repressed. He felt helpless when the androids first attacked, and he felt almost responsible for Gohan's death. Not to mention, he let Goku Black go before, and that possibly caused even more destruction, and who knows what consequences it'll have later on. He has those feelings of self-doubt again, but those feelings morph into anger at himself and at Goku Black. He can't fail here, not again. He can't fail this timeline. He can't fail Gohan. Everything he's been able to do in life is thanks to Gohan's sacrifice. Without him, Trunks wouldn't be here and the timeline wouldn't be here either. In Trunks' eyes, he's the last line of defense here. He needs to do everything in his power to stop Goku Black. And Goku Black can see, he's getting angry, and he's getting power from that anger just like he does. He continues to push Trunks more and more, who slowly grows stronger and stronger. Trunks promises he won't fail here again. Gohan's will lives on through him. It's almost like he could feel Gohan there with him, encouraging him throughout all of this. At maximum power, he charges right in at Goku Black. Some of the clones try to block him, but Trunks punches right through them, destroying some of them in the process. He then attacks Goku Black with a flurry of kicks and punches, and then quickly lifts his hands up in the air, charging him a Senko. And strangely enough, it feels like Gohan's there, pushing him forward, helping him to charge the attack. Point blank, he launches the Masenko at Goku Black, and then maneuvers it to destroy the rest of the clones all in the same shot. The main Goku Black isn't destroyed, but all the clones are. Goku Black's pretty heavily injured too. He can't believe it. All that training he did, and Trunks is actually still stronger than him. Although, it doesn't seem like there's a huge gap in power. At least because he's still holding back somewhat. He was holding back just to drag out the fight and see if he could do any more. This might draw out some more power from him, but now he realizes that he has to get serious or else he'll die here. And maybe he could still get what he wants. By drawing this fight out, he was hoping to actually draw Beerus into the fight. He charges his power, showing off the full strength of Super Saiyan Rose 2. Trunks alone might actually be enough to defeat him, but he then looks over at Beerus, who nods at him. Trunks powers down. He could tell Goku Black's still holding back, and he's not going to risk his life here if he knows that Goku Black's just toying with him. They need to make sure they kill him. They can't play around. Beerus was hoping that Trunks could just handle this himself, but knowing the threat Goku Black poses, they actually agreed to something. If it turned out Goku Black was actually too strong, Beerus himself would just fight him. And he commends Goku Black for his power. Of course, that power is not his own, but still, he is pretty impressive. And it's been a while since he's gotten to use his full strength. An intense pressure then radiates throughout the entire planet. Trunks hasn't been the only one training. Of course, they never knew the true extent of Goku Black's strength, so Beerus had to get a little bit more in shape. Not to mention, as a god of destruction, he has to maintain his spot as the strongest. And given the history of Goku Black, especially with all the things he's doing and all the timeline nonsense he's causing, Beerus has every right to step in now and actually kill him. But that was a good test for Trunks, and he commends him for his effort. It is kind of a shame that he couldn't win though, but in the end he encourages Trunks once more. He actually got this strength through hard work. Goku Black got it by stealing power, and messing with timelines on a whim just to benefit himself. More of a reason for Beerus to eliminate him. Beerus floats over to Goku Black. Goku Black stunned by his power. He was hoping to fight the god of destruction here, especially knowing how strong Beerus is relative to the others. But this is unlike anything he ever expected. He never knew the true extent of a god of destruction's power, especially this specific Beerus, one who was actually preparing for the fight too, and one who was strong to begin with. Quickly, out of fear, Goku Black pulls out his sickle once more. He does have a backup plan too. If he wasn't going to be able to fight Beerus here, there was still a way for him to further his plan. He almost wanted to go directly to the Supreme Kai, but knew that could be a risk. But this way he can go directly there, uninhibited as well. He attacks Beerus with his sickle, aiming it so that it hits Trunks too. The attack does no damage. Instead, it rips open a hole in space-time, sending them somewhere else. Instead of Goku Black retreating, he just removes them completely from the battle. Whis actually was able to dodge this too, with Goku Black looking over at him and smiling. Soon enough he'll fight Whis as well. He knows angels can't fight, but he'll make it happen someday. And Whis simply glares at him unbothered, but also telling Goku Black that he doesn't know what he's truly messing with. And he says this pretty jovially too. He's actually intrigued to see how mad Beerus will get about this. At least once he's back. Goku Black then vanishes from sight, with Whis also disappearing as well, knowing what Goku Black might be up to next. Thankfully Shin sensed all this happening, and he's not just sitting out in the open on the Sacred World of Kais, but Goku Black is looking for him now, and Whis is going directly to him as well. But what happened with Beerus and Trunks? Of course, just like Whis theorized, Beerus is fuming. He's messing with time like that, and he sent them somewhere else. What a cowardly move. Trunks apologizes to Beerus for not being able to defeat him, but Beerus tells him not to apologize. It's not his fault after all. Goku Black was truly far stronger than they thought. They just didn't realize he was toying with Trunks the entire time. If anything, Beerus feels like he should have stepped in earlier. It was a good test for Trunks' power, but it's not his fault that Goku Black won there. Well, if you could even call that a win. But where are they? He could tell they're in a different timeline, but they're on his planet at least. And he's not too worried. Whis will come and get them eventually, but it's probably going to take a bit of time, mainly because he has to go find the Supreme Kai first and make sure that he's safe. He knows Whis is smart enough to prioritize protecting Shin, and since Whis can't fight himself, he must be on his way to save the Kais now. Then he'll bring Beerus back to his timeline. Because if he doesn't do this, Beerus will be as good as dead, and that timeline will be done for. He actually does consider going to Shin in this timeline too, who might be able to bring him back to that timeline with the time rings, but usually Whis would transport him there, or the Supreme Kai would have to teleport him there. If Beerus goes there, he'd have to manually travel, which would be fine, but he doesn't necessarily want to leave Trunks alone here because he can't bring him through the vacuum of space. Also, they still don't know if this could be a trap or not. So now the question remains, what timeline are they actually in? They get their answer soon enough when the Beerus of this timeline comes here, with Whis, Vegeta, and Goku. They were on Earth celebrating after the Tournament of Power, but they came here at Whis' request because he noticed something strange. The two Beeruses see each other and they don't actually freak out. This isn't too strange. But then Trunks sees Goku and Vegeta, and they instantly recognize him as well. Of course they ended up here. That makes sense. They're all elated to see each other. Trunks and Beerus got sent to the present timeline, the one Trunks saved all those years ago by traveling to it. This is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.